I am tired of the disrespect that Tom Brady constantly gets. So let me just play you a clip. And shout out to these guys. This is what I'm doing in good banter. This is not anything personal. It's just that, one of the fellow members of the show that I was on the other day, any given Monday morning, I'll have a link to their channel in the description. One of the fellow members wants to talk all spicy because Pats fans talk trash to him. He's an out-of-towner. He goes to school in Mass. But a lot of people like talking trash to him because he's a 49ers fan. So, because of that, it really clouds up his judgment when it comes to critiquing Tom Brady. He was talking about how Tom Brady is a cheater. Oh, really, Kai? Really, man? Alright, so let's just play some clips.
We grew up in a generation of Tom Brady, Big Papi, and Paul Pierce.
Yeah, how fucking Tom Brady is like involved in every scandal known to mankind for the NFL.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
Wait, what's up with the Amazon ball that they're doing?
Oh, jeez, that thing where they just compressed, they flattened it.
Yeah, like, I saw Pat McAfee talking about it.
I gotta get me one of those.
All right, that's
why are they doing that? Because you can like launch that thing.
Tom Brady ball.
Oh yeah,
Tom Brady ball.
The Deflategate Special Edition. It's fucking sold everywhere other than New England.
New England will deny it.
Fucking New Englanders will be like, it's fucking bullshit, conspiracy by the NFL and everyone against Boston sports.
You done messed up, Aaron.
He wants to call out Tom Brady for being a quote-unquote cheater. But his boy, this might have been before his time. This might have been before he was even born, his tenure during the 49ers. But the point still stands. Jerry Rice admits to using illegal stick-em on gloves during career. Yeah, I seen an article saying months later that he retracted those statements, but why would he say those kind of statements if they weren't true? Why would he then say, I didn't do that? No. What, so he would make up a lie to make himself look like a quote-unquote cheater? It's not the fact that he's a cheater. I don't even think that Jerry Rice should get slandered or anything like that. I'm just bringing that point up because you want to act holier than thou. You want to act like Tom Brady is the only one that's quote-unquote cheating. But I'm going to get into that. I'm going to get into the two scandals because apparently 2 scandals equals all of the scandals in the NFL. Bruh, come on now. You're just saying that because you're salty. Since these Pats fans want to roast you for being a 49ers fan. That's why you're saying it. But if you really think about it logically, what Tom Brady did, I'm going to get into that. What Tom Brady did is just overblown sensationalism. Both scandals. This video isn't just directed to Kai. It's just directed to Brady haters in general. Because they have these same points. Oh, he's a dink and dunker. Oh, Tom Brady's a cheater. Oh, his legacy shouldn't be what it is because he cheated in Spygate and the Deflategate. 2 scandals, if you can even call them that. They're not even scandals in the first place. I got an article that I'll put down in the description, and you can look for yourself. Every team cheats. That's the fact of it. Since these Brady haters want to say, Deflategate and Spygate, he's not the GOAT because of that, then Jerry Rice is not the GOAT when it comes to being a wide receiver because of using Stickum. If you want to play that game.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Spygate. Patriot and Tom Brady haters will claim on their mother that the main reason they won their first 3 titles is because of Spygate, when in actuality, it's not true. And to these haters that talk about, oh, they're a bunch of cheaters, oh, Spygate, dude. Do you know this information? So, this article that I found really tells you the truth about Spygate. And Spygate really, in reality, isn't that big of a deal. And I'll get into that. So, these are the common misconceptions that it says about Spygate. You're wrong if you think filming your opponent's signals is prohibited by the league and is therefore a serious cheating infraction. But the reality of it is, filming your opponent's signals has always been completely legal. Even today. And a league memo to all the teams in 2006 is what started it all. Because this memo in 2006, you could still film. That's the thing. Because later on in this article, it talks about Bill Belichick saying there's thousands of people watching the football game in person. So of course there's going to be people that see your signals. And then there's millions that are watching at home when the camera pans to, if they pan to Bill Belichick doing his signal. So of course there's going to be people signaling it. It's just that in this memo that Roger Goodell sent in 2006, you can't film in certain areas. That's what it was. You can see in this picture. You can film because it depends on the offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator. Because some offensive and defensive coordinators, some will be on the field and some will be in a press box by themselves. So if you are in a press box, like it's pointing out over there, it's fair game. But you can't be doing it when you're on the field. That's what the violation was. But this is the thing. This is the big thing about this quote-unquote violation. In order for it to be technically against the rules, the owners, all 32 owners would have to vote on that rule unanimously. But that's the thing. There was never a unanimous vote. There's a big difference between a unanimous owner vote and the commissioner doing a memo. And it really wasn't even about cheating, really. It was more so Bill Belichick and Roger Goodell getting into a petty dispute. That's really more so what Spygate was about. Roger Goodell even admits that what the Patriots did in quote-unquote Spygate, they technically did not break any rules because, as I said, in order for a rule to be changed, it would have to be passed unanimously through the 32 owners. A memo does not classify as a rule change. The reality of Spygate is Roger Goodell, his ego got hurt because Bill Belichick was being a troll to me. So you know what? I'm going to show him. I'm going to give him a punishment and the Patriots a punishment for not listening to my memo. So Bill Belichick, you know how he is. He does all these kind of trolling, loophole coaching antics all the time. The smart mind that he is, he must have seen that, well, it's not that the memo makes this an official rule, so screw it. I'm still going to be doing it. I don't care what Roger Goodell has to say because Roger Goodell can put out all the memos he wants. But if the owners are not approving of it, there's not a unanimous vote on it, then what I'm doing is technically not against the rules. So this is a percentage as to what Spygate was really about. 10% about where they were filming from, 90% about Belichick stupidly thumbing his nose at Goodell's new rule. That's really what it was. Bill Belichick being an agitator. And to debunk Spygate even more, I'll get you some quotes from a Bleacher Report article that I found. This is a real good read, and I'll have the links to both of those articles in the description. Because I never actually knew about the real story of Spygate until I started doing research for this video. So here's the first notable quote. From Steelers chairman Dan Rooney. And in the first 3 Patriots championships, they faced the Steelers in 2 of the AFC championship games. So this quote is coming from a real credible source. And it's so funny to me how people from the outside looking in are always the ones saying, oh, the Patriots are cheaters. But then when you got people that actually are in the NFL, they're not like, oh, well, their legacy is tarnished. The only people that are saying that are people that have bias. Like, I'm going to get to the Deflategate, but it's an embarrassing moment. A guy that faced the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. We'll get to who that guy was. Quarterback for the Jaguars. Former quarterback for the Jaguars. What an embarrassment. But alright, let's read this quote. We consider the tapes of our coaching staff during our games against the New England Patriots to be a non-issue. In our opinion, they had no impact on the results of those games. What you gotta say, haters? This is somebody whose team faced against the Patriots in one of the biggest games that you will have in a season, the AFC Championship game. And he says they had no impact. So the next quote comes from legendary Dallas Cowboys coach Jimmy Johnson. This is exactly how I was told to do it 18 years ago by a Kansas Chiefs scout. I tried it, but I don't think it helped us. Bill Belichick was wrong because he videotaped signals after a memo was sent out to all teams saying not to do it. But what irritates me is hearing some reactions from players and coaches. These players don't know what their coaches are doing, and some of these coaches have selective amnesia because I know for a fact there were various teams doing this. That's why the memo was sent out to everybody. That doesn't make Belichick right, but a lot of teams are doing this. It's not like this memo was just sent out to the Patriots. That's a great point by Jimmy Johnson. It was sent out to all of the 32 NFL teams. So it isn't just, oh, the Patriots are the ones cheating. Well, there's such a hyper focus on the Patriots when they do it. It's like that TikTok meme. It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. That's literally what it's like with the Patriots compared to the rest of the NFL. You haters still think it's me just being on some conspiracy? I don't know what to say to you if you still think that. During these tapes that Goodell found that violated his new rule, what Goodell found was routine, but against the new rules nonetheless. Goodell said of his findings that he found nothing that tainted the Patriots' accomplishments. This is coming straight from the man himself, the man that gave the punishment. And he's saying they don't taint the Patriots' accomplishments. Really? I think that's it. That's really all we can say. I don't need to make any more points after that. So that's your 1 point debunked right there. Ooh, Spygate. So Spygate wasn't even that big of a deal. And I know you wouldn't be given that same energy if your team was doing it, because you're doing it from a biased standpoint and you're just a hater. There's a very high chance that the Patriots have won more rings than your team has in the last 20, 30 years. We all know the real reason why these people get salty and say, oh, the Patriots are cheaters. because their teams aren't the Patriots. That's what it boils down to. These Spygate articles really paint you the actual picture in context of what Spygate actually was.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Here he is again, like a statue in the pocket. Able to go long for Moss. Moss has his first touchdown as a Patriot.
From the gun. Brady. Rainbow. Over the shoulder grab. Chris Hogan. 2nd and 6 for New England. Steps into the pocket. Throws it downfield. Oh, separation. Gronkowski. He's gone. Touchdown, Patriots.
Brady play fakes to Maroney this time. Steps up. Throws deep. Wide open. Is reshaped. Caldwell for the touchdown.
Brady, a lot of air under this one. It's Bethel Johnson. And Johnson in for the touchdown.
2nd down and 12. As Brady finds a wide open LaFell. And Brandon LaFell fights off Leonis McKelvin. And Brady. And he's going deep and getting free is Edelman. And Edelman will go into the end zone again.
The tackle barrier was coming out on Brady. This is not. That's a lateral going back to Brady. Now Brady wanting to go long. Gaffney's waiting for it. Gaffney is in for the touchdown. And they ran it. Play action fake. Long ball. Moss reels it in. Touchdown, New England. Here's Brady in the pocket. Looking deep. He's got a receiver. Troy Brown. Touchdown, New England.
Play action. Evans going deep. He's got Davis. Touchdown, Patriots.
First down and Brady. Threatening to go long and indeed launches it for Branch. Has it at the 10 and in the end zone. Touchdown, New England.
1st and 10. And Brady buying time. Sends it deep down the field and it is Moss making the catch.
Great fake, going long. Moss on the road at the 20 and forget about it. Touchdown, New England. Tom Brady after the play fake. Deep pass, man running open. Chris Hogan off to the races. Touchdown, New England. He's got the time to go long. He's got a wide open Deion Branch. Smith, can he stop it? A touchdown this time, or is he going to be beat for the 3rd time? He's beaten again. 100%. Brady, play action, long ball, open, Dobson, got it at the 40, Dobson takes off for the touchdown.
Brady looking to throw it. Airing it out. Brady. Coming back for the football, David Patton. He could take it the distance. Patton streaks in.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Let me ask you guys the same question with Tom Brady. Do you believe what he had to say? I did not believe what Tom had to say. Those balls were deflated. Somebody had to do it. And I don't believe there's an equipment manager in the NFL that would, on his own initiative, deflate a ball without the starting quarterback's approval. I just didn't believe what Tom Brady had to say.
Shut up, bitch!
I don't believe Tom. Cry some more. Cry some more, Mark Burnell. Your biggest accomplishment in the NFL is being a quarterback for the Jaguars. That's how I know your career was an L, so shut your mouth. But Deflategate, another non-scandal. I already went over why Spygate is on some overblown melodrama, and Deflategate is the same thing too. I could just easily end this segment of the video by saying the Patriots didn't even start blowing out the Colts until the second half when the balls in that game were properly inflated. That could be the end of the segment right there, but I've got more for you so I can put it in the haters' face even more. Now this is just my personal experience because I have a football. And I don't know, maybe it's because I need to get a new football, but I properly inflate that football. Last time I did, it deflated real quick. And it wasn't because I was trying to cheat and get a competitive advantage. I got a question. So Kai wants to say how, we complain about things being a setup, but look at this article from CBS Sports. You want to say how we're saying it's a setup, Kai? What about this article? Have you read an article like this? No, because you just want to be a hater. It's not just you, but you're very outspoken about your hate for New England and Tom Brady. So, here's this article for you. New Deflategate revelations paint the NFL in a bad light during the infamous saga with Tom Brady and the Patriots. Why did this come out 7 years later after the fact? That's my question. It was around this time 7 years ago that the NFL was engulfed with a growing controversy surrounding deflated footballs with the New England Patriots. What ultimately ended up being famously dubbed Deflategate, more like melodramatic gate, centered around the allegations that New England was using deflated footballs during the first half of the AFC Championship game against the Colts, and the Colts didn't even score a single point in the second half, but we're still going to be focusing on how they deflated the balls in the first half. From there, this saga blossomed into one of the biggest off-field battles in recent memory. It featured Tom Brady going to court against the NFL after being handed a 4-game suspension, along with the Patriots being fined $1 million, while also being docked a first-round and fourth-round draft choice. While this did paint the Patriots in a very nefarious light, recent revelations do appear to slightly exonerate them. In a nugget from his upcoming book, Playmakers, Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk reports 2 new pieces to the Deflategate saga that don't look too fondly on the NFL and its handling of the situation. The first comes from the initial report that sparked the saga. In the aftermath of that game, ESPN's Chris Mortensen reported that 11 of the 12 footballs used by the Patriots offense during that game were underinflated by at least 2 pounds each. That information was ultimately proven to be false. Bro, is this what you're going off? You haters, is this what you're going off of? 11 out of the 12 footballs were underinflated. It was proven to be fake news. ESPN shows you why they are a joke now. And a correction was eventually made in the initial report. In Playmakers, Florio reports that the source of that incorrect information was NFL Executive Vice President of Football Operations Troy Vincent. Huh! So Kai, you're making fun of us for saying things are a conspiracy because our teams win. The Vice President of the NFL made up that lie. Are you serious? And you're not going to say they're doing this because they hate what the Patriots have done? The NFL is a sport. The way it's designed with the cap, it's designed so dynasties aren't supposed to happen. Dynasties like the Patriots are not supposed to happen. There's supposed to be some kind of parody. I mean, you do have parody because then you got the one-year wonder teams that's all cute. Yeah, that's cute, Nick Foles. You want to talk about, Tom Brady lost to Nick Foles. Yeah, that's cute. Kiss his 7 rings and his 8th ring coming this year. You could kiss that. Yeah, so there's the teams that do win with their fluky one good season and then they don't do that great for years. Florio notes that it's unclear whether Vincent deliberately gave Mortensen the inaccurate information, highlighting the confusion during the early days of the scandal. Nevertheless, the report sent waves throughout the league and forced Brady and the Patriots to publicly go on the defense. The second nugget that Florio reveals in the book is arguably the biggest of the two, as it reveals direct science that supports New England's defense. If not exonerates the franchise completely. Where are you at now, haters? Did you read this article? Beginning in 2015, the NFL began conducting air pressure spot checks at halftime of games. The data was collected and hidden by the league with none of the numbers even seeing the light of day. Under the ideal gas law, the working theory is that the air pressure in the balls would rise during the warm days and fall during cold days. And maybe that's why my football deflates. Because I live in Mass, so there's a lot more cold days than warm days. That's what happened. Because it's January in Massachusetts. So what did you expect to happen? If it was the other way around, the Colts were the ones with the deflated footballs, would this even be a story? Absolutely not. But because it's the Patriots, they're cheaters. Kai, when was the last time your team won a ring? When was the last time your team won a ring before you were born? Playmakers reveals that numerous measurements made at halftime of games during the 2015 produced numbers beyond the permitted 12.5 to 3.5 psi levels and correlated to the ideal gas law. That means the footballs used by the Patriots were consistent with the conditions that they were playing in that day as it relates to the recorded data in 2015, distorting those initial allegations of wrongdoing. Deflategate is fake news. And to even rub more salt on the wound of these Brady / Patriot haters, I got some quotes that this other video used.
Joe Montana said, "It's a stupid thing to even be talking about because they shouldn't have the rule anyway. If you want to see the game played at the best, everybody has a different grip, everybody likes a different feel." Dan Marino, "Every quarterback that has ever played the position understands that getting the footballs the way you like them before a game is part of the game. I mean, I did it for years. Jim Kelly up in Buffalo did it. Tom's doing it. Peyton Manning's doing it." Aaron Rodgers, I thought, had the best point. He says, "The majority of quarterbacks, I would say more than half, are maybe on the other end of the spectrum and like it on the flatter side." Rodgers said, "My belief is that there should be a minimum air pressure requirement, but not a maximum. There's no advantage, in my opinion. We're not kicking the football. There's no advantage in having a pumped up football."
But the people that actually have played football aren't saying, "Oh, Tom Brady's a cheater."
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Barry McCockner. Now, this guy has to be the biggest hater of Tom Brady that's not an official member of the media. And yeah, I know, he's a troll, but the fact that this dude constantly makes videos about Tom Brady saying how he's overrated, how he's not the GOAT, how he hates him so much, it tells me that he believes what he's saying. Yes, there's trolling in there that he does, but the fact that he makes 20-minute videos about Brady just shows me that it's not just, everything's a troll, man. Alright, so these are some points I wrote down from a video I seen of Barry's, and this was after Brady won his 7th. And he was saying, Tom Brady's still overrated. So the first one is dissing Brady for taking advantage of opportunities. Okay? What are you supposed to do? If you're at the 50-yard line, start your offensive possession, what is Brady supposed to be like? "Oh, I gotta move myself back here on purpose because this Barry McCockner guy's gonna say that I have easier opportunities." Bro, this is the thing about him saying that. First thing about it is you gotta take advantage of those opportunities. Just because you get an opportunity doesn't mean that that opportunity is going to be taken advantage of. There's a lot of quarterbacks in the league currently that if you were to give them this field advantage. And then also, another thing he was saying aside from, stats about how Brady has a better field advantage compared to quarterbacks is he's had some top defenses in the league. Oh, boo-hoo, Barry. Do you think Jameis Winston would have done something about it if he had the same opportunities that Brady had? Do you think that Sam Darnold would do that? No, because they're not good. Well, Jameis, he's bipolar when it comes to his play. But there's plenty of guys that would have not taken advantage of those opportunities. And Brady, that's just been his career, taking advantage of opportunities. It's the game of football. That's what you're supposed to do. And it's like that in other sports as well. The teams that have more turnovers are typically the ones that lose the games. Because the other team that made them turn over the ball took advantage of the opportunities. But apparently, Brady doing that in Barry's eyes, that means he's overrated. That means that Brady is good at what he does, bro. That's a non-point. He takes a big L. That might be the biggest L Barry has in this video. But then again, Barry's just a big L in itself when it comes to him talking about Tom Brady. And his boyfriend, Aaron Rodgers. I can bet you, if his boy, Aaron Rodgers, were to have the same opportunities, he'd be like this clip. Oh my God! Wow! That's how he would be. But since Brady's doing it, oh my goodness, why is he taking advantage of his opportunities? How dare he? Sound like the male grown-up version of Greta Thunberg, whatever, that global warming girl. And I seen one of Barry's videos. The reason, and it's just like Kai, the reason why they developed this hatred, it has little to nothing to do with the actual teams or players that they have disdain for. It's more so the fan bases, and then they project their feelings about the fan bases on the person that the fan bases support. Alright, second point is, he totally dismisses the fact that Brady is producing great numbers in his 40s. His argument is that, he has a talented team around him. But didn't Peyton Manning have a talented team around him his last year with the Broncos? What happened with him? So, yes, I will agree that if you have better talent around you, your numbers are probably going to increase because of that talent. But it's a two-way street. It takes two to tangle. First, you got to have that talent. But second, you still have to have something in the tank in order to produce those numbers. And that's what Barry fails to take into account. He makes it seem like it's so easy. He just has a bunch of offensive weapons. It's just easy to average 40 touchdowns in a year. I'm just going to totally ignore the fact that in the NFL, a career is about just over 3 years, and Brady's going in his 23rd year and playing better than he did in his earlier championship days. He'll totally ignore that. And it goes back to the first point about dissing Brady's opportunities. He makes it seem like it's so easy. Let's say that you're at the 50-yard line to start your possession and then execute at it. Do you think Broncos country, let's ride? You think that man would be doing anything with it? Look how the Broncos have been playing. He wouldn't be doing jack. Broncos country, let's ride. More like Broncos country, let's cry. So just because you have that field position doesn't guarantee that the team's going to execute at that. So it goes back to that point. Because Barry makes it seem like it's just so easy for Brady to be putting up numbers like that. The fact that Brady is still producing these kind of stats in his 40s really shows you to how he conditions himself and how he trains. And there really is something behind the TB12 method. Whatever exactly he does. Alright, so the next point is dissing him for having inflated stats against playoff teams. So the first thing that's wrong with this argument is that even with the extra playoff spot that each conference has now, which makes it 14 total teams in the playoffs, that's still less than half of the league. So that's bound to happen that you're going to be facing teams that aren't going to make the playoffs. And then second thing is, in the NFL, upsets happen all the time. When I make predictions to myself about who's going to win each game, I never can have a perfect week of football predictions because upsets always happen. Just because they're a 2-14 team doesn't mean that they're not capable of winning a game. Unless you're the 2008 or 2016, 17 Browns. But outside of those teams, a football team can win any Sunday. You gotta remember these are still professional football players you're going up against. He still had to win those games, and the Buccaneers still had to win those games because you play to win the game, as Herm Edwards says. And that goes to the next point about his stats against playoff teams of 2020. Yes, if you look at it at face value, they were not great stats. But this is where I have to bring context into it. Because he doesn't bring any context to it. He just shows the numbers like, oh, see, Brady sucks. The thing he's implying is, oh, he's kind of more washed up than people think he is. Because look at his stats against playoff teams, though. So, okay, so 5 of those interceptions came against the Saints in 2 games versus them. And then games against the Packers and Bears, he didn't have crazy stats, but he did play good enough to win in both of those games, as he did not throw an interception in either of those games. And then he won again, or I shouldn't say he, but the Buccaneers, because it's a team sport, won against the Packers. And are players not allowed to have bad games? It's a 17-game season, so anybody, the best of them, have bad games. Well, what is it, Barry? And then, I love how Barry conveniently leaves out the stats he has in the postseason, because that completely would abolish his narrative, since, Brady, even though he was 1-5 against playoff teams in the regular season, guess what, Barry? He was 4-0 against them in the playoffs. And he beat your boyfriend Aaron Rodgers too. So you could suck a fat one, Barry. Don't even try to make the narrative about, oh, Brady's just not as good as he was, or Brady is just giving you the illusion that he's aging gracefully, but not really. They won the Super Bowl with him leading the way alongside of his Bucs teammates. So, your point is pretty much a big L, bro. Alright. And then this actually goes into, this is a good transition, because this is a point that not just Barry makes, but Brady haters in general. He's a system quarterback. This has been proven to be completely false the last couple of years since Brady left New England, because what has the Patriots done since he left New England? First year he left, they immediately went from 12-4 to 7-9. Granted, it was because, part of that is because their quarterback is a washed up Cam Newton, but Brady, on the other hand, first year, goes to the Bucs, new system, new set of teammates. A team that didn't make the playoffs since 2007. First year, they win a Super Bowl in a pandemic year. Last year, Patriots at one point were the first seed in the AFC, but they started losing some games near the end of the year, and then they slipped to a team that had to play a road game in the wild card, and they got totally obliterated in the first game against the Bills. Now this year, as I'm recording it, I'm recording this a day before the Patriots game against the Lions. So, right now, they are currently 1-3. Buccaneers, yes, they're not doing too great so far, but I think they should be fine with the division they're in, because when you got Jameis Winston as the second best quarterback in your division, bro, you're safe. You got the Patriots record in the last 3 years, and then you got the Buccaneers 11-5, first year, Super Bowl, 13-4, and they really could have been in the Super Bowl. I think they would have won the Super Bowl if they forced that game to overtime and they had a possession, but Matthew Stafford clutched up the Cooper Cup, and the rest is history. And then aside that, what was Bill Belichick's record? And this is not me saying that Bill Belichick had no part to do with the Patriots' 6 rings. Of course he did. It's not like, Brady completely carried the team, though. And this was Belichick's records when he was coaching for the Cleveland Browns. First year, 6-10. Then 2 years back-to-back, 7-9. Fourth year with the Browns, that's unbelievable in itself, 11-5. And lost in the divisional. And then 5-11 is last year there. 8 years where he hasn't had Brady as a quarterback. He has made the postseason 2 times. Because I don't think, we'll see what happens with Mac Jones and then Bailey Zapp. What happens with that situation moving forward in the season. But I don't think the Patriots are making the playoffs this year. And yeah, you could link to other factors as to why Belichick wasn't successful with the Browns, because it's the Browns. No one has been able to make them a good team consistently, really. And then with the Patriots, yeah, Brady was the strong man there. And the fact that they lost a generational quarterback like him, there might be holes in the team that get exposed more because of Brady's absence. Because Brady could lessen the blow when it comes to potential flaws that the Patriots may have as a team. And then the last point I want to make when it comes to the system quarterback argument is that Belichick has had Charlie Weiss, which was his offensive coordinator during Brady's first 3 years. And then this was his record when he coached for Notre Dame and Kansas. So, 9-3, 10-3, pretty good start so far. But then he starts going on the downfall. 3-9, then 7-6, 6-6, and then he got fired, went to Kansas, 1-11, 3-9, 2-2, and they fired him. So overall, Charlie Weiss has a record of 41-49 in college. And also, Josh McDaniels, what has he done? He's done nothing being a head coach. The Raiders aren't doing so high, and he didn't have a good tenure during his first time as a head coach. But despite all that, despite all the coaches, because that's what happens when a team is successful, teams are going to be interested in making the assistant coaches of that successful team as their head coaches. And there's times, like with the Patriots, and these coaches that are under Bill Belichick, where it doesn't work a lot of these times. Bill O'Brien was the offensive coordinator for the Patriots for 1 year, and that's funny enough in itself that out of those coordinators, Bill O'Brien was the best head coach. So it's not like the same guys have been under Brady's wing when it comes to assistant coaches, whether it's the offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, whatever it may be. Whoever the coaches that are under Bill Belichick's wing may be, Brady's been producing. Doesn't matter who the coaches are. And then on top of that, look at what Brady's been doing during his few years with Tampa Bay. During his 2 years with Tampa Bay, Tom Brady has done something that he only did once in his time in New England. But with Tampa Bay, he's had 2 years with 40 touchdown plus seasons. He only did that one time in New England, and that was when he had this 50 touchdown season. Showing you that he's not a system quarterback and he's still got a lot in the tank. He is not washed up.
How are you able to focus despite the negative fan base? AKA the haters. I don't know. What do we do about the haters? We love them. We love them. We love them back because we don't hate back. We appreciate it and we love them and we wish them the best in their life.